Hey, welcome. All my right thinkers, thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk Thinking, right? Out here in the lab, and I'm in a new book. Yeah, we're going to go with the Egyptian Book of the Dead, M. Her Peru. That's it. Going from dark into light. Yep. Excuse me. But now I'm gonna cherry pick the lessons out. I got a good one. I'm starting from the beginning period. I'm not gonna do the whole book like I was doing. That a little monotonous. So I'm gonna change up a little bit and get lessons from my perspective. I'm gonna cherry pick them. All right. So they should all be good. That's right. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with message. There's always messages in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tuning in and receiving them. I appreciate you. I hope they're working out for you. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I do for you. It's you talking, but if you don't have to answer for yourself, chill in. I got you. A person who knows not, and knows not, that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not, and knows that they know not. It's simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Maya be true. Right thinkers, from the Book of the Dead. Ooh, yeah. It says the Egyptian Book of the Dead, hieroglyph translations using a trilateral method, meaning it's going to give you three different breakdowns to get you to it. The hieroglyph, then they're going to translate it, and then they're going to translate it again in English. They're going to do the hieroglyph, then the Egyptian, so that's called trilateral breakout. When we get to it right now, I'm going to give you information. We're going to open up with the question that I'm pretty sure everybody got. Right then, philosophy, P-Funk's philosophy says, the question is, who am I? Do you have an answer? I do. Stay tuned. Pay attention, and when I get done, you will too. If you pay attention and learn, let's rock. The question is, who am I? In the words of Moses, when God told him, I am that I am. Remember that? Okay, we ain't going there. I ain't a biblical person, so, but I know that part. All right. It says, who am I? One question. What is this mind which perceives? Two questions. And what is this universe made of? Three questions. Last one. Is there a God? Four questions. And by the end of this little reading session I'm about to have engaging with you, I'm hopefully you had an answer by the end to all four of those questions for yourself. Pretty much. Okay, that's my goal. I'll see if I can pull it off. So, all right. Throughout history, these and many other questions about self have followed humanity, and from generation to generation. And the need of human nature to what? Experience. Spiritual beings, we had to have our human experience, this human nature. And the point is to evolve and to understand has led to the invention of what we call philosophies. I'm a spiritual philosopher. I talk about spiritual concepts and viewpoints. Invention of philosophies which assist the human mind in grasping, understanding the realities it seems to perceive in the world, as well as those which it seems to perceive with the heart. Heartfelt mind, conscious mind. Okay, the inner eye, all those things start coming into play. But right now you're simple, or you're ignorant to that, so I'm just going to break it down. But which remains intellectually unknowable. You don't have knowledge of God, you can't know God without having knowledge of God, and you do that by studying and learning. In ancient times, these philosophies, this is where it gets important. Pay attention, please. In ancient times, these philosophies developed as what we call myths, stories, to teach, to enlighten, to educate, not to just gaslight you and BS you. But we got myths, then you got okay, but myths, and from myth we go to religion. If anybody who practices Christianity is in a religion and think that it's not involved with myth, you are crazy. If you take that book to be literal, you as dumb as a day is long. It's all mythological, allegorical, astrological, everything is in the religion concepts. But then you got the yoga system. That's what I practice. Okay, right there. You got the myths, you got religion, you got the yoga system. And now in modern times, they even have taken it a little further. They formed what we know now as science, called a science that's called psychology. Study of this thing right here. Then you got physics. And you have also a non-religious philosophy such as Marxism and existentialism. Those are two concepts that got nothing to do with God. Okay, they got different perspective, philosophy, but they all do the same thing. Better yourself and get you closer to be your best self or your higher self. So, yet with all the developments from the past, humanity remains still in search of what? The answers to happiness, health, and peace. To be happy, do what you love to do. Make that your career. Health, keep the physical condition, stay in shape, do your job, go to the gym, take the body, keep it up. And then you will reach peace of mind. Hotep, you will have reached supreme peace within yourself by doing the things you need to do for yourself. And let me ask you a question. For all you Christians, we're number one. Has religion and science failed? Religion do their job. No, they're not. But most importantly, throughout all the teachings that's embodied in religions and the discoveries of now, today, modern science, if you still believe that Bible is a literal book and it really happened, you are damn fool. So, and has humanity missed out on the benefits of true religion and science? Why? Because we're still ignorant. I see a bunch of ignorant Christians. I don't see enough enlightened Christians to make that being a Christian something to brag or be feeling good about. Why, y'all ain't close. The ones I know are better than a lot. So I don't see a lot of that going on. But is there anything useful in these endeavors for mankind? If the Bible is religion making the world a better place. It's making people do better. Mayat kept a society at bay and at peace for over 3,000 years. That's the philosophy that I practice. Okay? But when you have a deeper study, and none of us don't, but those who do, you'll know what? Until our history, religious history, my favorite. Meaning and practice of our ancient teaching. That's what I practice. And what's this? It reveals a remarkable, an incredible, impeccable concordance with the modern scientific discoveries. And I can use one, if that's my favorite one. We knew that the heart was the birthplace of God. Why? At Judgment Day, you were judged by your heart content. Now, modern man, through his machinery, my technology, he said the brain heart is bigger than the heart that's in our, the brain mind is bigger than the heart. The mind is in our head. The heart has a brain. How about that? We knew that a long time ago. I did. A long time ago. And my man, Brandon, he come up with this proof. Okay, but I ain't impressed. Not impressed. They knew that in the 90s. Y'all still ain't got the the message. It takes 30, 40 years from the scientific proof before they throw it down to us. That's a damn shame. But yeah, that's where that goes. But again, it proves out our ancients, a lot of stuff that modern technology just find out. And really, all y'all doing is verifying what we already knew. That's my point with that. So, in essence, with modern science, such as quantum physics, yeah, all these fancy names, and they're leading scientists to contemplate life and our understanding of what we call reality in terms which our ancient philosophers and sages espoused and spoke about thousands of years ago. So again, I'm not impressed. Science, which I spell conscious, SCONSCIENC, science has been proven through science what we say about the conscious, how we think about it. God is conscious and spirit. That's it. Science is a discipline which professes to shun non-rational thoughts, right thinking. It teaches you how to think right, all positive. A common feature to both what? The use of mythology and the purpose of religion. Religion has a purpose. It has a meaning. And y'all just misusing it. So, how is it possible that it would be led to the same conclusion about existence of this mystical religion and the yoga philosophy? There is none. They both get you to God. The goal is that's the main goal for either one of them. And if you do it right, they both will do the same thing, get you to God. How about that? Okay, I proved that. My lesson I did about that. So, psychology has been defined as the study of thoughts, process, characteristic of the individual, or even a group, mind, psychic, ethos, mentality. All those are the Greek definitions. But in this work, we will focus on religious mythology. Did you hear me? Christians? Religious mythology. Not religious truth, not religious literal, no, religious mythology. Let's go. And as a psychological discipline, that's what the book is for, the Bible, is for you to understand the human mind yourself. Its development and transformation through the use of mythology can be and should be understood as a language. However, it is really a unique kind of language, and we understand that. Why? Because certain languages are similar, but because they are not part of the family of languages for understanding and the meanings of some Italian words, so as to somewhat to be able to follow along a conversation in Italian. I don't speak Spanish. I sure don't speak Italian. So, but the idea, mythology is much more intelligible than an ordinary human language. Why? Because mythology is more akin to like music in its mythological system to another, and thereby you gain the understanding of the message being imparted through the rhythm and the music that's playing, the lyrics, you get into that. But setting up your own personal spiritual program will also require that you yourself develop a profound understanding of the psychological principles upon which mythology is based on in order to discover your own special path on this life we call the spiritual path that we call life. Everybody get to pick and choose whatever they like. You can have whatever you like, okay? But your choice. Remember, it come with a price. So if you ain't willing to pay the dues, you might not want to break them rules. All right, where we at? Okay. In order to gain insight into what we call psychomythology, that means stories for the mind, to check the mind, or psychological implications of the religious and spiritual mythology, which promotes the what? the psycho-spiritual transformation. Psycho means the mind of the individual, leading to what? The attainment of what we call enlightenment. We must first define what is meant by the term psycho. So you the mind. And mythology. Let me break that down right quick. Let's go. So here the term psycho must be understood as far more than simply that which refers to the mind, top there. So now in its thoughts, but we will be using psycho to mean everything that constructs human consciousness in all of its stages and states. Mythology refers to the code messages, ideas, that directives and beliefs which affect the psychic through, you ready, conscious and even unconscious mind of an individual, specifically those effects which result in transpersonal, transcendental changes in the personality, as well as those which constitute what we know to be anti-yogic, anti-transcendental movement, meaning they don't believe in yoga, they don't believe in God, they don't believe in nothing. Okay, they anti-everything. But while our studies, this is going to be good, quick lesson, y'all. While our study begins with Egyptian mythology and religion and yoga philosophy, it also necessarily relates to mythologies, religions, and philosophies around the world. So the same concept, the same viewpoint is all around the world. Briefly, but your Egyptian religion is the oldest recorded religion in this historical era, and in our book, the Egyptian Yoga philosophy of enlightenment, we copied the correlations between the religion which developed in Egypt and the Egyptian mythology is in reality a higher, sophisticated, and advanced system of yoga philosophy. But yoga is a system within itself of personal transformation by which we are able to conduct or discover our true self. Know thyself. When you hear him say discover, you hear him say true self, you hear him say higher self, supreme self, that's to know thyself. They just dragging it through every other name, but step calling it what it is. But true self, wherein lies the answers to all our questions. When you become one with God, you mentally know all. Why? You're one with God. Mentally, God knows all. That's why. Simple. But you got questions of purpose of our existence. Who are we? We're Fakawi. All right? In the words of my F2 group boys. But how about this? Now, how are we to overcome this adversity and promote real prosperity? And why are we in this institution about the purpose? Excuse me, when he answers the question about the purpose of our existence, who we are, how to overcome the adversity and promote prosperity, and why are we in these situations of life in which we find ourselves? You ready? Most importantly, the idea is not the mass, mountainous amounts of wisdom. No. But to discover there we find ourselves, the most important and in the idea is not to amass mountainous amounts of money, fortune, and fame, but wisdom, teaching, and to discover their true meaning. How? By applying them to your ordinary life, and by doing so, you're now able to rise above ordinary life as a lotus rises above the muddy murks of water without retaining a single drop of dirty water on its petals. It stays spotless, stainless. If this does not occur, then you are not practicing the philosophy correctly, and religion or yoga, but something else. You're doing your own thing. Initiation is therefore the process of, you ready, coming into the philosophy which way of life, which allows you now to become free of what? Any and all spiritual and mental restrictions or impediments to your happiness. Nothing stands in the way. You got the free dance, okay? It is also a process of what? Of you self-discovering how to end for yourself what? Pain and suffering. Kill the ego desire. Kill the physical concept of everything, and you will kill your suffering and pain. That's how it's done. And it says here, thus, it is a process of you becoming established in your own inner support, in your own self-knowledge, in your own inner peace without depending on the outer world. That's a pin dropper, and I'm stopping right there. Why? That says it all. I'll be back with what is human existence, but I think that's a good lesson. Nice and short. Didn't take up much time, but I hope it answers those questions that we start out in the beginning and in closing. I think this, may you all live to be 100, maybe 100 miles a day. So I know none of my right thinkers now who know what? Who I am, passed away. Do you? Prove it.